Congratulations. Thank you. Have a great time.
Today was the first episode of The Late Show with Stephen Colbert.
We came to attend our cousin's wedding actually, so we just came back from that, and now we're trying to get into the show.
Are you longtime fans of Stephen Colbert?
I don't know if it's long time, but I'm a fan of his. I appreciate what he does.
Absolutely the same.
I remember when he used to do interviews on The Daily Show.
Why personally were you here tonight?
I was here because as a New Yorker and as a writer and comedian, I respect the inaugural events for different people in the industry. So I wanted to be here for that moment to share with other people.
A high percentage of young Americans would go to places like The Daily Show and the Colbert Report, so comedy shows to get their news. What do you think about that as a phenomenon?
I think that's very sad.
I think it's kind of good. At least they're getting news somewhere. It beats, because they don't read the newspaper, so they might as well get the news in some fashion.
Well, I think that comedians, they dare to bring satire and ridicule of people in power into like the news kind of treatment, and I think that's pretty important, especially in states where there's a great distance between the general public and the authorities.
I feel like if that's one of the ways to get young people's attention, I think it works because there's a mix of satire and there's also a lot of political elements to the Daily Show and the Colbert Report. The mix of those two things, the eclectic guests that they have on, and the Report, the host himself, I think for both shows, I think that's what makes it so special. So to have those kinds of things in there and have people take away something as substantial as that, if it's a news source, there's worse places they can go to for their news.
What do you think of the idea that people, they trust The Daily Show and the Colbert Report more than some conventional proper newscasters? What do you think about that idea?
I think it's hilarious and valid because you have news outlets, quote unquote news outlets like Fox News that supposedly report the news and don't. It's laughable, really. So, turn to people that are funny at least, get the news from them.
I have heard for years that more people get their hear about news stories from the Daily News and Colbert Report than they were from traditional sources.
Why do you think they're going again to a comedy show versus just going to, your typical evening newscast or reading newspapers? Why do you think that is?
Because I don't think that they think news really applies to them, and so to them it's a joke, but they will find out later in life that they should have paid more attention.
What I also found was that the level of trust for, again, The Daily Show and the Colbert Report was about as high as a number of different legitimate news organizations. Why do you think people trust comedy shows again for political and hard news?
I think one of the important things about Stephen Colbert as a personality, and this is disregarding who he may be on this show because the show just started, but on the Colbert Report, one of the important things about him and his persona is that people feel like he's academic in a way, and he's teaching his viewers in a way that is not threatening. He's not provoking his viewers. You're kind of sitting with him in a small bar and talking to him one-on-one like a lot of these young people would with their professors.
Do you think he's going to still focus a little bit on politics, or what do you think the mix of the show will be?
I don't know, it's going to be interesting because I don't know what he's like outside of his character. We're used to him being in his character for 10 years now, so I think it's going to be fun to see. I think it's going to be a fun show.
Do you have any predictions for how this show is going to turn out? This is day one.
So this is day one of The Late Show with Stephen Colbert. I think that he's going to be at this post for a long time. I think it's going to take a while for people to get comfortable with him. In the beginning, what they're going to do, his fans are just going to completely latch onto it because that's another way for them to support him. And then some people will kind of walk away after a little while thinking that he's not the same person. And he's not, because this time he's actually playing himself, allegedly. So that's going to be something to note. And down the road, his new followers, his old followers, they're going to be the ones that are there. And I think it's going to be a huge success. It's just not going to be what we expect, and that's the most important thing.
Is there anything else you want to add?
No, that's it. Good luck. Good luck, Stephen Colbert.